Pennsylvania's state system of higher education. 14 universities, infinite opportunities.
Hello and welcome. I'm Frank Brogan, the Chancellor of the Pennsylvania State System of Higher Education, and welcome to another installment of Infinite Opportunities, our chance to talk about 14 of the best universities you'll find anywhere in the country, the 100,000 students, the faculty, the staff, and the administration who make every day a marvelous opportunity for our young people. With us today, we have a great panel to talk about a very important topic: how we move students through the continuum of education to the real world of work in which they're going to live for the rest of their lives. And with us today, we've got three great panelists. To my immediate right, Rhonda Gifford. Rhonda is the Director of the Career and Professional Development Center at California University. To my immediate left, Jesse Mancuso, a student, a senior at Bloomsburg University in digital forensics. That's his major. And then also with us today, Dr. Scott Inch. He is a professor in the Department of Mathematical and Digital Sciences at Bloomsburg University as well. These two know one another very well. We're delighted to have all of you. And it is an interesting topic. To set the stage, I'd like each of you, if you would, and Scott, we'll start with you, if that's okay, to tell us a little bit about your entree into what you do.
Sure. Well, I'm a mathematician by training. All of my degrees are in mathematics. And about 10 years ago, the department took part in an adventure to find a new major, and maybe something that would attract students to Bloomsburg who wouldn't normally realize that Bloomsburg should be their first choice. So we started to investigate the idea of a digital forensics major, and I was involved in that investigation and later went to some training and fell in love with the field. And so we wrote a bunch of courses and put together a package, and it's been very successful. So it's been an interesting adventure after that. So got it approved, instantly had interest from students. We had 50 majors the very first semester with no advertising, which is phenomenal. And over the decade, we've seen an increasing number of courses and even more students. We now have about 180 majors, and they're graduating and getting phenomenal jobs and doing amazing things out in the workforce.
Wow, it just goes to show you how exploding fields draw students immediately when these new programs are created. Rhonda, that has to be very important in terms of what you do, how you not only draw students to your university, but how you help line them up with programs and therefore jobs.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me here. Yes, I direct the Career and Professional Development Center at CalU, which is a comprehensive career center. And that means we assist prospective students, current students, and alumni in order to help them explore majors and career opportunities and help them to make informed decisions. We help them to gain experience through internships, co-op, job shadowing, research, you name it, and to make connections, not just the networking kind of connections, but to connect what they've learned through their strong academic base with what value they bring to employers.
Oh, that's fantastic. And Jesse, you're the product. You're what this is all about. And working with people like Dr. Inch and the great people at Bloomsburg, tell us what enticed you into this particular field.
Yeah, well, I actually got started. I took a summer STEM camp out of high school at Bloomsburg, and had a GPS forensics class with Dr. Inch. And I went in as a computer science major. And right after I took that class, I was like, I'm switching to digital forensics. This stuff is cool. And so that's what really enticed me, and it's cool to see how the major's grown since I've gotten there, because it's been through like 2 different curriculum switches, and it's just been getting better and more students. And now we have like 2 clubs directly involved with digital forensics, and it's great to see the program evolving.
That's fantastic, and congratulations on your success. Bright things to come for this young man, I think, sure. Dr. Inch. This is a good opportunity now to segue. We like to take field trips on Infinite Opportunities. We're going to do that. We're going to take a trip to Edinboro University, one of our 14 schools, to talk again about moving students through the continuum of putting knowledge to practice.
I was part of a lab this summer during my research internship that was researching cancer immunology, and specifically I was working on an advanced stage melanoma treatment.
Internships and other types of practicum experiences are really important at both the undergraduate and the graduate level. here at Edinboro. The chemistry faculty work very closely with students as early as their second year to help identify good internship opportunities that they can participate in.
Every professor here on the university campus has some connections, some kind of lineage, as they call it, for their PhD, for their advisees. When you find some quality students or some students that have potential for research, I have connections that allows me to actually, oh, I have this great student, you guys have a summer program, can I send them to you?
A young woman who, as a junior, went to do an internship at what was then the Allegheny County Coroner's Office in Pittsburgh. She was hired there when she graduated. She is still there, and she has been promoted to be the head of their Division of Laboratories. And she is also an adjunct professor in the forensics program at Duquesne University. And it all started with her internship.
Student internships train you to be a lot more independent than typical undergraduate laboratories where you're typically supervised at all times. During my summer internship, I worked almost entirely unsupervised, and it was a very great experience.
I had to fully understand and comprehend what I was doing and what was happening, and in doing that, I was able to become independent, and I was able to troubleshoot and plan new experiments and things like that.
One of the things that I push for anyone coming in for a visit to Edinboro University is look at all of the equipment we have. You will use this throughout your entire career because as an undergraduate student, preparing them for a degree in chemistry, but also preparing them for a profession in chemistry, it's important that they can use that equipment and understand what's going on.
We give them hands-on experience in research quality instrumentation. Our students have touched and used and troubleshot these instruments prior to going for their internships, and so they're ready when we send them out.
It was great being able to walk into that program already knowing a handful of different methods that are very practical for an organic chemist to know. So I've definitely felt well prepared.
We've had a lot of students who really, their internship experiences had major impacts on their career.
Invest in me.
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 I'll be your future public servant.
I'll be your future advertising executive.
I'll be your future accountant.
I will be your future motivational speaker.
I'll be your future lawmaker.
I will be your future teacher.
Invest in me. I'll be your future videographer.
Welcome back to Infinite Opportunities. We've got a great topic today. It's the practical application. How do we move students through a curriculum to a degree and then on into the world of work and help to assure that they're successful? What generates their interest and how do we use that to their advantage through the process? I'm going to turn my attention this time to Rhonda and ask you, this is what you do for a living. You are the director of the Career and Professional Development Center at California University. Tell us a little bit about how you weave together that sort of a complicated number of issues.
Sure. We like to say it's never too late, but it's never too early. So at Cal U, the Career and Professional Development Center visits every first-year seminar class, and we introduce students to a program called Career Advantage. That program guides them through a 4-year process of making sure that they've chosen a major that fits their skills, their interests, their values, and also meets the market demand. It's important that those two things come together. We also introduce them to the ways that they can gain experience through internships, co-op, hands-on experience, just getting involved on campus through clubs and organizations. And then we encourage them, it's never too early to start networking. So through that introduction, they meet their career advisor. Every CalU student has a career advisor who can guide them through gaining their own career advantage. From there, we have clubs and organizations that have made it mandatory for their members to participate in Career Advantage, which is great. But we also integrate as much as we can into the academic curriculum, for example, capstone classes. So many of those students participate in things like practice interviews that help them learn how to articulate what they've learned in the classroom. They attend networking events. And many of our students also who participate in Career Advantage do get job offers before they graduate, which is
So it
fantastic.
really is a very complicated process. It's not just left to the luck of the draw.
Exactly.
And sometimes, Jesse, it's as simple as having an early experience with a great professor who piques your curiosity with a great topic. That was rather your story. But you and your peers, what do you see by way of how students typically find their way into a major area and an interest of study?
Well, I think it takes a lot of things. You know, I think it's good to get exposure to a bunch of different areas. So in my case, it was going to the STEM. I got the chance to see like 4 different majors and practice with that. A lot of people, they're interested in, you know, technology or science, and that attracts them. And so on our part, we tend to like run things that would interest people. So we have a conference that high schoolers, college students, veterans can come to and check out our major, see what we do, and that can attract them. So we're kind of reaching out to everyone. If you look at our major, you can see like we have veterans that are in their 40s. We have kids coming right out of high school. So we attract pretty much the mix of all ages and kinds of people.
And Dr. Inch, you know better than most the competitive nature of programs at our universities. We like to believe they're all wonderful, and we have to help students try to find their niche out there in the world. How do you and your colleagues go about doing that, educating students as to what your program holds and the opportunities provided?
Sure. Well, as Jesse said, we're pretty aggressive about trying to appeal to people. So we do a lot of outreach to high schools. I give lots of talks to high schools. We hold events and invite people to campus. We're actively right now trying to recruit more military and veteran groups because we feel like they're a natural fit for our major. They could continue on into the military intelligence area or something like that. So we're pretty aggressive about trying to recruit, and we've also benefited from TV shows that portray digital forensics, NCIS and CSI and those kinds of shows. So we do get a lot of people coming in, a lot of students thinking, that's what I want to do. And sometimes they get there and realize it's a little bit different than it is on TV, but in general they stick with it and seem to be quite happy with it.
Well, that is one of the interesting parts of our world in higher education, that from a period where our programming was somewhat static many years ago to a day where our curriculum is exploding in terms of change and different opportunities that didn't even exist 20, 25 years ago. It's really remarkable how we've also had to adjust how we market and attract and recruit students into these programs. Many of them so new, they didn't even know the programs existed when they got to the university. Let's take a trip out to Slippery Rock University and let's see how Slippery Rock handles the issue of moving students to the real world in which they're going to live.
This started with a problem that a real client had, and we could use these mathematical models and statistical methods to bring a solution that will affect thousands of people. The Butler Transit Authority invested in a system that collects a lot of information about their operations, including where the bus is at any moment and the difference between the scheduled time and the time that the bus actually gets to a stop. That generates, in a single, more than 80,000 records per year. When you analyze it, you get valuable information that helps them make strategic decisions. And they wanted our help analyzing it to see what we could discover about their operations.
It was really unique to anything I'd ever done before because yeah, I had done projects generated by some textbook or anything, and then to be able to do something where, you know, after we made some corrections and talked to the management, and then they made the implementations, and we saw that there were real improvements. You know, it felt really good to know that like you're capable of that.
When I say we work with mathematical models analyzing big data, it can get scary.
When Dr. Solano told me about the project, I was so excited but nervous at the same time, because that was my first time working on that field, and then I was totally new.
As soon as I joined the project, I just always felt like it was a matter of time until Dr. Solano discovered that I was not not adequately smart enough to do it. But I guess just as I kept going, I surprised myself.
Seeing my students flourish and develop while doing the research, how at first they were very timid and at the end they were very confident on themselves and what they can do. Helping a public agency that is serving the public.
It was like almost overwhelming and exciting when we were able to make all the improvements that we did.
As soon as we showed them what the numbers were, and there was management, there were the drivers, and the solid numbers, it immediately resulted in behavioral changes that reduced lateness by 70% at the first stop. We now are moving to changing the design of the route itself, and we are expecting to get lateness down by over 90%.
We actually did something good for the company, and it will actually help the company out.
I have a beautiful family at home. That's the reason I wake up every morning and do what I have to do to provide for them.
Walmart's commitment to building American jobs is a huge part of what we're doing. We went from 40 people to over 140 people.
When I got the job, it was like fireworks going off. I could be there to take care of my family now.
There's no way that we could grow at the rate we have been able to without having the commitment from Walmart.
Walmart is doing a great thing creating jobs in America. It's amazing just to be a part of that.
We're back to Infinite Opportunities, and today we're talking about putting knowledge into practice. How do we recruit, market? How do we draw students into particular majors, and then, very importantly, prepare them for the next step in their life, a great job? We've got with us three wonderful panelists today, and I'm going to immediately turn my attention to our student, who is a senior at Bloomsburg University in digital forensic, Jesse Mancuso. Jesse, the first contacts that you had with universities as you were looking, did they occur the day before you walked onto the campus, or did they occur earlier than that?
Oh yeah, it started way earlier than that, because so I was initially recruited to Bloomsburg for football. And it's funny because now, you know, I'm not playing anymore, and I've found a field that I loved. And it's crazy how you can like go into something with football, and I wasn't too into academics coming out of high school. I was like just so excited to go play for Bloomsburg. And then now it's a total 180, because now I'm all into my academics, and yeah, so it's awesome to see that, and I think it's great. We should start recruiting students for majors like we do for football. Mm-hmm. So going to conferences, trying to attract these high schoolers, tell them how awesome a program like digital forensics is, and catch their early interest so then they can start doing their own practical research.
Music to your ears, I would suspect, Dr. Inch, in terms of how you start to reach out to students. And we were talking during the break about the importance of starting early, because many of the new evolving programs, students may not even be aware that they exist because they are so new on the horizon. Your take on early and often?
Sure. We have decided to run some camps even at the middle school level now, and we're very fortunate. Bloomsburg has a very active summer set of programs, and so often we'll get a call from a different program saying, could you do a day or two on digital forensics for these students? So the students didn't come to the campus necessarily to learn digital forensics, but we get to present to them, and inevitably they get very excited about it, as they do with other disciplines as well. But it's exciting to see that. And you're right, we want to make sure they know this discipline exists. And we find this particularly important for our female students. We're really excited that our major has a higher percentage of female students and minority students than many other technology majors on campuses. So we're excited to keep that ball rolling, and we believe that catching them early is the key to that. If we get them in middle school and get them excited about it, and show them some role models, then they realize they could do it too.
Well, I thought Jesse's parallel was fantastic. The idea that if we approach this the way great coaches approach the marketing and recruitment possibilities, it can increase our success rate, and that sounds like exactly what you're doing, Dr. Inch. Rhonda Gifford from California University, again, I've said you do this for a living every day. This is your focus. Director of the Career and Professional Development Center. Does any of this sound familiar to you?
Absolutely. We found we're speaking to more and more high school students. At Cal U, the Career Center is involved in our open houses and discovery days. So our Career Center staff meet with prospective students and parents, and we offer career assessments at no charge. These are available on our website, calu.edu/findyourmajor. So they're available that prospective students and parents can take a look at the careers offered, and students can take a career assessment online to really figure it out early.
That's fantastic, and it's a great way to begin to excite and create an enthusiasm fast forward that ultimately, as does Jesse, can turn it into a full-time career down the road with the help of great professors and great universities. Let's take a trip, speaking of great universities, and in this particular case, we're going to take Rhonda home. We're going to take her to California University, and let's see what they're doing a little bit more on the ground at Cal.
The Career and Professional Development Center is a comprehensive career center. We work with students even before they begin at Cal U.
The center is here to help students find jobs and to network with employers like myself. They help them with resume building, as well as help them learn how to network and professionally sell themselves.
One of the best things about the Career Development Center, it gives us such a good opportunity to not only grow academically, but grow socially and grow professionally.
Cal U's Career Advantage is awesome.
Explore, experience, and connect means that you are exploring possible careers, experiencing the field that you are pursuing, and connecting with people in that field.
When you are in your explore stage, which means that you are deciding what your major is, or if you already have your major in mind, you get to talk to professionals in that field to see if that is truly what you want to continue to do.
Coming in as a freshman, it was a really new environment and I didn't know what to expect, so I'm really thankful that I was able to connect with my career advisor and get that advisement to help me choose a path that was best for me.
We really work with students to help them think about what is going to make work meaningful for them.
They have the focus assessment, which is there to ask you, questions that will help you think more about what you like to do so that they can point you on a path that would be the most ideal and enjoyable career for you.
It's incredibly rewarding to see our graduates who have participated in Career Advantage. In fact, 98% of our graduates find employment within 6 months after graduation. Internships are probably one of the biggest factors that employers use in determining who to hire.
You can learn how to react in person rather than reading about it in a book.
My internship with the Steelers, I definitely think it has set me apart from others.
It can help you in the long run, gaining connections and better understanding what exactly you want to do with your life.
80% or more of people find their jobs through networking. Through our events, like our networking reception, through our job fairs, through alumni networking events, we help students learn and put into practice their networking skills.
If you're an employer or an alumni and you're looking to recruit individuals, you can actually register and then network with soon-to-be graduates and recent graduates.
Mock interviews are great. It's something that if they don't utilize as a student, they're really selling themselves short.
Hire Cal U is an online career center where jobs are posted.
You can literally find thousands of jobs on Hire Cal U. There's not a lot of universities that have as much outreach to employers like California University does.
The best thing in our job is when a graduate contacts us and just let us know what they're doing. We don't do what we do because we have to. We do it because we love it.
Welcome back to our final segment of Infinite Opportunities, and we're talking today about putting knowledge into practice, and we've got some people who know a little bit about that here with us today. Rhonda Gifford does this for a living every single day at California University as the Director of Career and Professional Development Center there. Rhonda, we were talking during the break about the importance of accurate information pushed out to potential students as early as possible. Right now, the system is working on an opportunity called the supply-demand gap analysis to push through technology out to students and families myriad information about what jobs exist in the Commonwealth, how much a starting salary would be, what degree it takes to get it, who offers that degree in the Commonwealth, that kind of information to create great consumers with great information. I know this is what you and your colleagues do every single day.
Yes, absolutely. We're working closely with our admissions officers to make sure that information about career assessments where students can really, number one, learn about their interests and skills and values, but also what the job market is, to push that out on social media. We introduce it early in our first-year seminar classes, and every student is required to take a career assessment, not just if they've already chosen a major to confirm that choice, but to start looking at what jobs are available out there, what skills do they require, and to start to create that plan to make sure they've developed career readiness skills by the time they graduate.
Well, we certainly intend to use good web access, but we also want to use social media. Jesse, we know that's a very important part of our students' lives today, not just in colleges, but all the way back to elementary school, because that information is so important for students and their families to have. Dr. Inch, your niche is a perfect example of that. It's a very complicated issue, and the earlier people can get good, accurate information, the better off they will be in making their decisions. Yes?
Sure, absolutely. And we're very fortunate. Our discipline is in demand. There's actually a shortage. So we have essentially 100% placement rate with very high salaries. So we're enjoying a good time for our discipline. We've been very fortunate. And I certainly don't think computers are going to go away anytime soon. I think that we're going to see a steady increase in the demand for these types of jobs in the future.
Well, and also very important for students to know that they'll get a job because there's one to get, and that it pays a salary to help them pay off those loans. Jesse, right? That are coming. We're going to wrap up with you today, and thank you for being with us as a student. We know how busy your schedule is too, not just these wonderful people. The information that students can glean via technology and via the great representatives of the university, you feel that's really important and helpful for students to have early on?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it lays a good foundation to getting in there, so they hear like the good placement rates, the good salary, and they get all excited about it. And then when they're actually in it, they can like find that passion for it. And I think it's just a great startup to get people interested, definitely for our field.
We are very proud of you, and for our viewers, Jesse not only has done all of the right things, he has a job even before he graduates from his university awaiting him when he leaves, and that's what we want for every one of our students at the end of the day. A great degree, having had a great experience, and then putting that knowledge into practice by taking the next step. You're going to be wonderful at whatever you do, Jesse, and we're very proud of you. And we thank our panelists for being with us today on this very important topic. And to our viewers, thank you for joining us again for another installment of Infinite Opportunities. We hope you'll come back and learn more about our wonderful 14 universities in the Pennsylvania state system of higher education. I'm Frank Brogan. Thanks for joining us.
Come back next week to learn more of the infinite opportunities at the state system's 14 universities, or visit us online